So today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I get a lot of feedback on every time I show it on one of my designs. And I'm gonna keep the intro short so we can just jump right to it. But it is these small LED bulb lights that I buy from Amazon. They are basically about $10 for 100 of them. And you can even get them in assorted colors. So this one is orange. And what you can see is it comes with a small tab here. And you pull the tab and a little LED comes on, or sorry, this one's green. And they're quite bright. They give off light for about 24 hours, the green ones, and the orange ones tend to last only about 2-ish hours. So just because of the frequency of the light. So they also sell assorted packs with different colors in them. So I bought a pack of 100 with some red ones, some green ones, some orange, blue, purple, and off-white and white. And I went ahead and just sorted them, turned each one on for a second, and then sorted them into bags so I could keep them different colors. So that way you could cut down on money if you only need, say, 10 or so of each one. So I'll use these during my games and I'll pull them out. And I have gone and found a set of LEDs that I'll link below, not LEDs, but STL models that are made to use these specific balloon lights. So no wires, no muss, no fuss. And so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how they work and some of the cooler things that these guys have put together. So the first thing I'm going to show you is obviously you pull out the tab. The light is quite bright and you can just put the tab back in if you want. And that will turn it on and off if you do that. But for the most part, once they're on, what's interesting is that they have a flat bottom on them so they can be set on the table and sit flat. That allows you to stack certain things on top of them. So for example, this gem style mine crystals that you would find, if you wanted them to be lighted up, you could just set it right on top of that light. And you can see this really cool glow that it makes. That does a great job. Now this one was printed out of clear resin to give it a better feel, but this one was printed out of FDM because I don't really care for the muss and fuss. So as you can see, this one and this one is quite a bit clearer than the other. But the truth is, once you put a light on them, you can really hardly tell the difference. Certainly the green clear one will be a little bit brighter, but for the most part, you can see they look about the same. So that's just one example of these, and that I got through this Kickstarter. But they also make a whole host of items that are made to specifically fit within there. So, for example, this small burn fire pit, and you basically can put it here, and it's made so that you can set the light right inside of it. Well, now not all of them. Sometimes you'll get a couple of duds where the battery doesn't connect right. You can usually squeeze them just a little bit, and they will turn on. But I'm going to let go of that one for now. Pull out a different one. So for 10 cents, if they don't work, you just toss them away. So here's the orange one. So you can see here, I'm going to set it inside of this little cauldron and set the fire on top. And you can see that I've got a really cool little glowing cauldron that is lit that I can set out on my table, and it takes 5 seconds. No wires, no muss, no fuss, and it's all squared away. It's great. So that's one example. Another example here, some of them come with small fittings that are made to put inside of the piece to support the small lighted bulb. So here, if I wanted to put in this orange glow on this, what you can see is a lantern on top of a tree trunk, then I can set that in here and I get a nice glow off of that. I used that during a Curse of Strahd encounter where the characters had to keep 6 lanterns lit and there were forces that were trying to blow them out. And that made for a really interesting thing. Here's another one that's people really seem to like. I'll use a blue light for this one. And this is just a statue with a crystal ball in it. I printed the crystal ball separately out of resin and the rest is out of FDM. And what you can do is simply, it's got a small hole in the back here. You just simply put the light into the hole and you have got your cool glowing crystal ball statue to place somewhere in your game to overlook your players and their actions. So pretty cool. I usually put a little piece of blue tack, as they recommend, to just keep stuff from shifting around. But for the most part, I don't really worry too much about it, as the pieces seem to stay in place. I also used this for the Merkmeyer stone in a D&D adventure, the Keys from the Golden Vault, and I used it to set, oops, this one has a very tall piece that holds this up, and I used that to set this inside of here, and I put the Merkmeyer stone on here, and gave it just a cool look where it was illuminated so the players could get a feel for it. And so that was pretty cool as well. Just another example with this sort of lightish purple light. Now the ones that people really seem to like that they go for are this fireplace, for example. So this is printed, again, small hole in the back. This one is sort of recessed so that you can just place the item will rest right in it. I put a little piece of black tape on the back just to cover it up. And you basically just stick it inside of the hole, and I put the tape down, and now you've got this very cool illuminated fireplace where you can send your players into some old house, and they might have one of these going off in the background, or a fireplace lit to keep things nice and warm and cozy. Now, the place where I start to get really a lot of very good feedback is on these lanterns. So there are these lanterns that you can place in your street scene. They come with a small post, and they come with a piece with a flame inside of it, well, that I've printed the flame and glued inside of there. And you just simply set this inside, and you put the posts on top of it, and you have these very cool glowing lanterns that you can set out with inside of your city. I printed about 10 of them that I use on a regular basis to put around and have out in my adventures. There's a second set of those lanterns that are a little bit different. These, you'll notice when I printed them, I needed to put a base around them because they wouldn't stand with the extra weight. So I added just a small 3D printed base to extend the space. But they come with a small two-piece lantern. And again, to get rid of wires and all of that, you simply take the two pieces, and you can put the light inside of the bottom here. And you'll notice also that it has a hole in the bottom, and that hole will allow you to stick the piece inside to turn the light off if you want to have these prepared in advance and sealed up, and then you just pull the tab when you're ready to start. And in this case, these just go on here. Again, you might need a small piece of blue tack to stick them together, but mine have turned out to be good enough that they have quite a bit of friction. And so what you'll see is this very cool lantern. Again, no wires, it doesn't have to be plugged into anything. It's set up and it's done inside of just a few seconds. And you have this really cool setup for your town. Again, I printed about 10 of those. And then for other pieces that you can see, there are still quite a few to get through. They've made these very cool pillars. And these pillars are stuff that you can just put inside of your little dungeon environment. Now, I use the orange usually to make a regular flame here. You just stick it in there, find the proper spot, and as you can see, it makes for this illuminated flame. Now, one of the things that's cool is if you use a clear here, you can actually change the color of the LED you stick in there, and you end up with a different color torch. So if you want to have green torches glowing in some villain's lair, then you just light them up this way. So that one's cool. Additional one that I really love is this cauldron. I use this for some witches in my Curse of Strahd game, and you simply take this and you place it inside of the bottom of the cauldron here, and sometimes you have to flip them out and turn them just a little bit because they tend to stick on the bottom, but get them how you want, and you just set the cauldron top on top of it, and now you've got your bubbly green glowing cauldron that you can have your witches stand around and be illuminated. So the cauldron, what other pieces do we have? Well, they made these ritual stones that, that can glow with runes. So sort of a hinge, as you will, and again, just a hole on the back. You can see that quite clearly. You just put the LED inside of it, and now you've got the small sigils glowing through your stones, and you can have that sitting out for your players whenever they activate the runes. For example, you can put the lights inside of them and have your cool little illuminated henge. Here is one that I've used quite a few times before as well. This is a small cooking pot and stove. And again, I just, because these bulbs will sit flat on the floor for these, I just simply take this and place it directly over it. And now I've got this glowing piece that looks quite great. Other pieces as well. I have this barrel, which is very similar to the tree stump, but again, you place this over it, and in it goes, and you've got your, illuminated lantern sitting on top of a barrel out in the woods, or wherever you have it, in town. And then here's one that is a kitchen table for using inside of someone's house. So again, just put it right there. Table goes on, the light comes through, and push that all the way in. Light comes through, and now you've got a lantern on a table. I use those sometimes for my bars and taverns. And yeah, that is, oh, here's one more that, let's use a hellish greenish light. This one is a, as you can see, a nice little stove. And again, similar way, light goes in the back. And this one casts really cool shadows through the grates when you put it on a table. Of course, the lights are on here, so you can't quite see it, but you can see some of the shadows on the platform there. And that's very cool. And then the last one I'll show you is this portal that they had. So the portal has an insert here. I did this out of FDM, transparent plastic. I printed it in a single layer with no infill to make it clear. And in this case, you have a place where an LED will go into the top and another one will go into the bottom. And so you can see here, I just place one directly into the top, and it sets down like that. I place the piece inside, and then I set a separate one on the table where it can simply insert inside. And now you can see that you've got your glowing portal. Obviously, these things show up much better when it's a little bit dimmer and not quite so bright with all the lights that are here. So that's about it for this set of these figures. There are a couple of other things that I have done with these, and I'll include some pictures in here. But one of the things that was my favorite to do was during a horror adventure where we had some ghosts coming in from out of the fog. I used these lights to simply put them inside of some cotton balls, and then the figure inside of the front of the cotton ball, so that it would cast a silhouette on them and they could be lighted from behind in a very ghostly and eerie way. So that was pretty cool too. So like I said, these little balls, 10 cents a piece. When I'm done with them, I throw them away. Even if I put out, 40, or during a game, that's $4, but I never use 40. But so I'll include some more photos of some of my other setups that I've done, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.